Dear students, welcome to the course Science of Consciousness in Ancient India, and this is lecture 28. As in the last lecture, I have explained you the subjective side of the manifestation. So, today we are moving towards the second aspect, that is the objective side of manifestation. And as you know, I have explained that objective side of manifestation is known as Deshadhva, and in that Deshadhva we have three more passages, that is Tattva, Kala and last is Bhuvan. So, we have already studied the 36 tattvas, Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishwar, Shuddha Vidya, then Maya and transitional elements, and then the impure creation, that is from Purush to Prithvi. Now, we have to understand this Kala and Bhuvan. This is the remaining portion. So, as you know that the objective manifestation has 3 steps, and these are Tattva, Kala and Bhuvan. There are total 36 objects of cognition which are known as tattvas. So, now we are moving for the Kala, and Kala are 5 in number. The prominent markers are known as Kala and they are 5 in number, though all the 36 tattvas have their sharp, or you can say a very fine membranous covering, which is understood as Kala. And in order to understand this concept of Kala in a very simple way, you just take an example of onion. When we peel onion, there is a membranous covering between the two layers. So, if you are you have seen that thin membranous covering, white color, that can be equated with a kind of understanding which is mentioned here as Kala. So, Kala is none but a kind of demarcation boundary which separates one particular tattva from another one, though it is not a hard and fast boundary, it is not a very concrete boundary that can actually separate one tattva from another tattva, because tattva appear in creation in a single continuity. There is no such strong concrete boundary between the two tattvas. For example, from Shiv to Shakti and from Shakti to Sadashiv, the manifestation is going inside of it. For example, when I am contemplating or trying to think about to create something, like take an example of first thought of creating this pen. So, at the first time when the thought was there or the thought was evolving within the consciousness of an individual, so there would be no demarcation, or you can say a concrete boundary, there would be no concrete boundary which can actually segregate the I-ness within and the this-ness within the thoughts. So, this is the basic structure. This Kala is a fine membranous demarcation which can be understood like a lining between the two Kalas, between the two tattvas. So, it actually provides a substratum for each and every tattva to be there in alignment or in arrangement to show as a sequence. So, whenever we are thinking, like if you are peeling the onion one by one, so first layer the outer one, then the outermost one, then the, so till you reach to the innermost layer, that you would be facing a lot of fine membranous coverings. So, if that fine membranous covering is nothing but providing a kind of you can say sequential proper arrangement. अगर वो फाइन मेम्ब्रेनस कवरिंग नहीं होगी तो मैसअप हो सकता है, एक पेटल दूसरे पेटल से सेपरेट नहीं हो पाएगी, या फर्स्ट लेयर देन सेकेंड लेयर देन थर्ड लेयर. सो द सीक्वेंस ऑफ अपीयरेंस इज जस्ट बिकॉज वी make a proper arrangement of each of them, each of the layer, and that arrangement is actually decided by or made by a thin membranous covering, that is Kala. So, technically there are 36 Kalas because there are 36 tattvas. Each tattva has its own membrane that can be understood as the end of that tattva. But prominently we know 5 Kalas. We are here understanding the 5 main Kalas. Why? Because they are responsible for that giving the proper arrangement to the sequence of the 3 transitional phases, that is the pure creation, transitional phase, and then impure creation. We have 5 tattvas in pure creation, 6 in transitional phase and 25 in impure creation. Each of the tattva is occupying a particular space, and a particular space is demarcated by the 5 dominant coverings, that is kala. And if you start from the outermost, that is the subtlest possible aspect, that is Shiva Tattva. So, here you can see the boundary which is available or which is known by the name of Shantatita. The word is Shanta and Tita. If you split the word, it would be like Shant, then Atita. So, Atit means beyond, परे, किसी चीज़ के पीछे चले जाना, या you can cross the limitation. Shant means the last membranous covering which is named as Shant, the name. So, the one who crosses the Shant, that is beyond the Shant, that becomes Shantatita. So, the last membrane is Shantatita because we do not know the exact लिमिटेशन ऑफ दिस कवरिंग. हमें रेंज नहीं पता है, ये कुछ होगी जो शायद इन्फिनिटी हो सकती है, शायद ऐसी हो सकती है जिसको हम कह सकते हैं लिमिटलेसनेस. सो वी डू नॉट नो द एक्चुअल मेजरमेंट, द एक्चुअल कैलकुलेशन ऑफ दिस वेयर दिस शांतातीता लाइज. शिव तत्व का अंत कहाँ है हमको नहीं पता है. इट्स अ लिमिट, यू कैन से इट्स लिमिटलेस. So, without any limitation becomes limitless, and something which cannot be measured out in any kind of number system, that means that is beyond our capability or potential of measurement. So, you see Shantatita is the last membrane which is understood as the covering of the Shiva Tattva. After that there is Shanta Kala. Shanta Kala is the covering of Shaktand. Shaktand means Shakti Tattva. So, after Shiva, the next one is Shakti, because Shakti is coming on or appearing as functional one within the Shiva Tattva. So, the membrane which can actually bifurcate or demarcate the separation between Shiva and Shakti is very lucid, and that lucid boundary is Shanta Kala. And when you enter from Shakti to Maya and Maya signifies the transitional phase, that means Maya, Kala, Vidya, Raga, Niyati and Kal. So, see after Shakti Tattva there are few more tattvas like Sadashiv, then Ishwar, then Shuddha Vidya. So, in the Shakta and Sadashiv along with the Shakti, Sadashiv, Ishwar and Shuddha Vidya, they all are present in the Shakta and. And when you enter in Maya and, that means the reign of Maya, the empire of Maya. So, Maya and the 5 coverings, that is Maya, Kala, Vidya, Rag, Niyati and Kal, they are present in the Maya and this Maya and or the covering or the demarcation boundary for the Maya and is Vidya Kala. So, Vidya Tattva is basically giving the name to the Vidya Kala, because that is the only Tattva which is responsible for limited knowledge. So, once you transit your limited knowledge, you enter into the state of Shuddha Vidya. That means you are crossing the limitations of the Maya. So, transitional phase. So, simply the Maya and is actually demarcated by Vidya Kala. And then after Maya and there is a Prakrit and. So, after transitional phase impure creation begins from Purush, then Prakriti, then Mahat, then Ahankar and then Panchajnanendri, Panchakarmendri, Manas and so on, and reaching to the last stage, that is Prithvi. So, from Prakriti to Jal, 24, total 24, you can say like 23 also, because Purush is something, Purush Tattva is delimited Shiva. So, the residence of Purush is considered to be at the level of this boundary itself. That means the demarcation boundary between Maya and Prakrit, which is supposed to be known as Pratishtha Kala. So, Purush is understood as seated as Pratishtha Kala itself. So, it is it is below the Maya, but above the Prakriti. So, in the same in that context, Prakrit and considers from Prakriti 2 Jal Tattva. So 22 total 22 elements or tattvas are there in Prakrit and the last one which is understood as Parthiv and is dominated by Prithvi Tattva. This is the grossest possible aspect and the covering is known as Nivritti Kala. See the name Nivritti. Nivritti is a very special word. In normal day to day routine we use the word Nivritti like suppose somebody says like आपको इस कार्य आपकी इस कार्य से निवृत्ति हो गई है या आपको इस पद से निवृत्त किया जाता है. सो मीन्स यू आर बीइंग रिलीव्ड फ्रॉम दिस पोस्ट और फ्रॉम दिस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. सो इट इज सजेस्टिंग दैट मीन्स द एंड ऑफ द टास्क. So end of the task means nivritti. After this there would be no manifestation. तो मैनिफेस्टेशन की एक लिमिटेशन है, बस वहीं तक जाएगा. मैनिफेस्टेशन वहीं तक होगा जहाँ तक अड़ुत्व अपने पीक पे पहुँच जाए. लिमिटेशन रीचेस एट इट्स पीक स्टेज एंड लिमिटेशन रीचेस एट इट्स पीक स्टेज मीन्स grossest possible aspect is being created. It is coming into manifestation. It is appearing on the canvas. So that means Parthiv and is covered by the Nivritti Kala and after Nivritti Kala there would be no manifestation. This is the basic understanding of the Parthiv and. So in in the red zone the Parthiv and which is actually the grossest possible aspect is covered with the Nivritti Kala and then separation or segregation or demarcation between Prakrit and Maya is known as Pratishtha. Then from Maya to Shakti it is Vidya and Shakti to Shiva it is Shanta and after Shiva that is Shantatita, the beyond the Shiva. So basically we are having 5 prominent kalas, that is why we know their names or we have you can say the scholars of Kashmir Shaiva Darshan have put their name from the Agamas itself. And they are being nominated separately or they are being studied prominently just because they create the and. And means the space. That is why I told you that we can relate the word kala with the space, but it is not exactly equivalent to the space because space is and. And what is and is also a very special term. If you understand the meaning of the word and, it would be like it is not a perfect circle, it is elliptical or oval. And if you draw an elliptical or an oval shape, that means the center is not having equal forces from all the sides. That is why there is at 2 sides the radius is more and the 2 sides the radius is less. That is why the shape elliptical comes into the scene. So oval structure or elliptical structure suggesting the and in that case because this shape is possible just because there are different masses which are arranged surrounding each other and there are different forces to neutralize the force of each other. That is why the final structure which comes into the scene is elliptical or oval shape. It is not a perfect circle. So basically and is the space and within that space we have so many bhuvanas, that means the places of residence. So what kala actually does? Kala just creates a demarcation to generate the space. That is the basic understanding. So according to that, the 5 membranes or kalas divide total empty space into 5 oval structures or elliptical structures. They are known as and they are named as Parthiv, Prakrit, Maya, Shakt and Shaiv sequentially from grossest to subtlest level. They contain bhuvanas. Now the number of bhuvan 16 first one, 56, then 28, then 18, then 16 again respectively. So within a sequence or in a proper sequence, the bhuvanas are arranged within the and. Bhuvanas are total 118 in number. The controller of Parthiv and Shaiv and are same. So the number of the bhuvanas present there are calculated only once. You see the number 16 is repeated, the first one and the last one. So we calculate it only once because the controller of both the spaces, the Parthiv and the Shaiv are same. So, in detail we are going to understand this number, how this number is being arranged in each of the spaces in the next slides. Bhuvanas are spaces to reside and they in turn occupy different deshas. Total number of deshas are 256 in number. Now, you see the concept of a space is like what Agam Shastra is saying. First of all, it is telling that we have 36 tattvas. Okay, each tattva has a fine membranous demarcation, and we can identify 5 prominent demarcations which are known as kala. First thing, then these 5 membranous demarcations create 5 kind of spaces which are known as and. And within that and we have bhuvan, which are actually the spaces of places of residence, and within that bhuvan also there are desh dominated by Parthiv. मतलब ये है कि भुवन जो होगा उसके अंदर सब कुछ होगा, भुवन के अंदर जल तत्व भी होगा, वायु भी होगी, आकाश भी होगा और अग्नि भी होगी, लेकिन उसमें भी देश वो होगा जिसमें केवल पृथ्वी तत्व डोमिनेट करेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू आर हैविंग योर, कंसिडर योर अर्थ, जिसको अभी आप पृथ्वी समझते हैं. पृथ्वी एंड अर्थ इज नॉट इक्वल, बट कंसिडर द अर्थ स्ट्रक्चर. देयर इज जल, आकाश, वायु, अग्नि, एवरीथिंग along with पृथ्वी, but the place of resident for us is पृथ्वी. हम क्या हैं? पार्थिव अंड में हैं इस वक्त. इस समय अगर जल प्रलय हो जाए तो ये कमरा पानी से भर जाएगा. इसका मतलब क्या है कि हम कहाँ हैं? पार्थिव अंड में हैं. हम उस जगह पे हैं जहाँ पृथ्वी तत्व डोमिनेट कर रहा है. सो दिस इज द लास्ट स्टेज, पार्थिव अंड. सो वंस there is any kind of piece of land which is dominated by Parthiv and is known as Desh. So within 36 tattvas there are 5 prominent kalas. Each kala creates one and. Within one and there are bhuvanas, and within each bhuvan there are deshas. So this is the structure of a space, stratified space, one embedded in another. This is the embedded structure of a space, and accordingly we have the number. If you go with this number 118, how this 118 bhuvanas are being arranged in 5 ands, then we can go for the next slides of space, skipping the time structure for the space first one. See, the same diagram is being explained here in detail. So, first is Parthivand, the grossest one. We are taking this one, which is having a demarcation boundary of Nivritti Kala. See the arrangement. If I want to explain you the arrangement of the Bhuvan. Bhuvan is also known as Pur. So, for example, we are having so many names of the cities which are having the suffix as Pur. So, Pur and Bhuvan is equal here. They are synonyms. So, total 16 Bhuvan or Pur are present in the Parthivand. Now, what is the arrangement? See, this is the instruction, this is the instruction side, and it is mentioning like the triangle which is mentioning a particular number. So, the triangle is number present inside is denoting the Pur or Bhuvan, and the triangle is itself an ayatan. So, within the Bhuvan also we have a voluminous space, that is ayatan. Voluminous space का मतलब हो गया 3D, मतलब उसमें 3 चीज़ें होंगी, एक लंबाई, एक ऊंचाई और एक चौड़ाई. 3 dimensional structure is denoting us or giving us the identity or entity which is understood as voluminous space. So, within and there is Bhuvan, within the Bhuvan there is ayatan, and in each ayatan there is a particular number. See, there is a particular number, and this number is Bhuvan. So, you can see the diagram 4.44. You see there is a circle inside which is shown as a brown in color, and there is a periphery also. So, within the circle whatever triangles are there, they are having a special number. 1 1 1 1 and the arrangement is like this one. So, you see there 1 2 3 4 5 total 5 ayatan are inside the circle, and then outside at the periphery of the circle 5 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1. So, 5 4 9 and 10 and 11. So, at the periphery of the circle there are 11 ayatan. So, in total they become 11 plus 5 they become 16. So, total 16 bhuvanas are arranged in such a way that 5 bhuvanas are inside of the tattva, that is Prithvi, and rest of the 11 are at the periphery. So, in the Sanskrit Shastra, in the Agam Shastra, the word which is used like Abhyantar is for inside ones and Vahe for the outside ones. So, in within that Parthiv and also the arrangement of the bhuvan is like kuch abhyantar hai, kuch vahe hai. So, 5 are inside and 11 are outside, and thus they are in total making the number 16. And now you see the Parthiv and is having these 60 bhuvanas, and each bhuvan is having one controller, that means one observer. A controller in what sense? Observer in what sense? The observer of the तत्व. मतलब अगर आप पृथ्वी तत्व को बहुत एग्जॉस्ट कर रहे हैं तो उसका जो एक रिएक्शनरी रिस्पॉन्स आएगा वो ऑटोमेटिकली आएगा, वो इस तरह के उसका रेगुलेटर कौन है, वो उसको कह रहे हैं ऑब्जर्वर और अ रेगुलेटर और अ कंट्रोलर. सो ईच भुवन इज कंट्रोल्ड बाय अ पर्टिकुलर कंट्रोलर और ऑब्जर्वर, एंड दैट इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ डिस्टर्बेंसेस. इमीडिएटली द मोमेंट यू आर क्रिएटिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ डिस्टर्बेंस विद इन दैट पार्थिव अंड ऑफ एंड सपोज अभी आप इतना कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम कर रहा है, चल रहा है, यू आर यूजिंग कंटिन्यूसली, यू आर एक्सकेवेटिंग द ग्राउंड or the parthiv and, so you are actually using the techniques to just create a very deep structure within the parthiv and. So that means you are disturbing the balance of that parthiv and. In that case, whatever would happen like earthquake or landslides, whatever would happen, that would be happening because of the natural powers available to this controller or observers of the parthiv and. This is the understanding of the Agam Shastra. And the controllers of the observers of the parthiv and are the same which are directly present in the शिव अंड. इसलिए अगर पार्थिव अंड में कोई छेड़खानी हो रही है तो उसका सीधा पता शिव अंड के कंट्रोलर को ही चलेगा. दो द कंट्रोलर्स आर सेम, or you can say the controller of parthiv and the shiva and are same, and that's why it's understood like mythologically, or you can say like metaphorically, not mythologically, but the metaphorically we in the Agam Shastra we have the narrations like शिव का तीसरा नेत्र खुलता है, मतलब शिव संहार करते हैं. संहार इसीलिए क्योंकि आपने उस तत्व को एग्जॉस्ट कर दिया जो सबसे ज़्यादा ग्रॉसेस्ट पॉसिबल तत्व है, दैट इज पृथ्वी तत्व, एंड यू हैव मेक इन imbalances, you have created disturbances within the Prithvi Tattva. That means the disturbance is going to disturb the Shiva and, or automatically if there is any disturbance in the Shiva and, there would be the संघार aspect or the रुद्र form of Shiva. So it's संघार के देवता शिव कहलाते हैं. इसी ये एक रूपक है, एक मेटाफोरिकल अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, मेटाफोरिकल वे ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेशन है फिनोमेनास का, जो कि आगम शास्त्र में लिखा गया है. So according to that, if you move to the next one from Parthiv to Jal, the same structure is available. The only thing which is missing is the inside ayatan. That means here the Ashtak 8, the number 8 dominates. The triangle is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 ayatan are present, and in each ayatan one bhuvan is there, and they all are arranged in the periphery, not in the center. बीच में कोई नहीं है, सब चारों तरफ हैं. दिस इज द अरेंजमेंट ऑफ भुवन इन द जल तत्व. सो जल के अंदर कोई नहीं है, जल के पेरिफेरी में सारे का सारे भुवन अलाइंड हैं. सो यू सी द अष्टक, द नंबर 8 इज डिनोटिंग द प्रेजेंस ऑफ द भुवनास इन जल तत्व. द सेम स्ट्रक्चर इज रिपीटेड फॉर द अग्नि तत्व ऑल्सो. नंबर 8 and they are arranged in the periphery. not within. The same structure is for the Vayu Tattva, again 8, same is for Akash 8. So total 4, अभी तक हमने 4 देख लिए. Then move to the Ahankar Tattva and Buddhi Tattva. Again the same structure is there, 8 Bhuvan are there and they are arranged in the periphery. So total 8 cross 6, अभी तक हमने 6 देखे. That means from this slide 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the structure. And after Buddhi, we have Prakriti and again that is 8. So 7. So 8 cross 7. This is the total one. So it becomes 56. So this is the structure. Total Ashtak कितने हैं? 7. 7 Ashtak means group of 8. So the group of 8 is 7 times available. So total 56 Bhuvanas are present in the Prakrit and the next one. So after Parthiv there is a Prakrit and which is having 56 Bhuvanas and the alignment is same. They are arranged in the periphery of the Tattva. After Prakrit and when we move to the Maya and, you see Maya has transitional phases and along with the Purush Tattva, because I told you Purush is above Prakriti. So Prakriti Tattva में Prakrit and में Prakriti Tattva तक के ही भुवन आएंगे. उसके बाद पुरुष से शुरू होगा. पुरुष, नियति, राग, विद्या, काल, कला, माया. And see the total number becomes 28. So this is the structure of Maya and. So first was 16, second is 56, third is again 28. This is Parthiv and, Prakrit and, then Maya and. After this Maya and, we move to the Shakta and see the Shakta and is having total 18 Bhuvanas. So within that, that means Abhyantar Bhuvan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Abhyantar 7. And in the periphery 5, 4, 1, 1, that is 5, 4, 9, 10, 11. It's the same structure which is available in the Parthivand. So total they become 18. So now the number became Parthivand, then Prakrit and, then Maya and, then Shakta and. So Parthiv 16, Prakrit 56 and Maya 28. And the second last, that is Shakta and the 11. So we calculate till here only, because the ruler or the controllers of this these and are separate ones. But after this, once we enter into the Shiva and, the same structure is repeated, that is of Parthiv and. So see the same structure, within there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Bhuvanas are inside and 5, 4, 1, 1, 11 Bhuvanas are outside. So total becomes 16, and because the controller or the rulers are the same, that is of Shiv and the Parthiv and, that is why we do not calculate it separately. This is 16, it is not calculated, we calculate till here only and it becomes 118, the number is 118. So this is the way how these Bhuvanas are arranged in particular space. And after this we come to the concept of Deshadva. This is the bigger concept. I told you Deshadva has Tattva, Kala and Bhuvan together. So Tattva is 36 Tattvas and then Kala is 5 Kalas, and then within all the Kala we have Bhuvanas 16, 56, 28, 18, and the last one is also having 16, but we do not calculate it. So it becomes 118. So if you are getting the question in the examination to describe or to show the concept of and with a diagram, then also this same slide would be drawn. This is the answer. And if you are being asked like show Deshadva diagrammatically or only with the diagram, then also the same slide is the answer. Now this is the, if you are being asked like just draw the Kala, how many Kalas are there, then you have to draw the only slide, that is this one, the separation boundary, demarcation boundary between the tattvas, and you can mention that this belongs to the Shiva tattva, this incorporates Shakti, Sadashiv, then Ishwar, then Shuddha Vidya, and then Maya and has Maya, Kala, Vidya, Rag, Niyati, Kal plus Purush, and Pratishtha Kala has Prakriti, from Prakriti to Jal, and Nivritti Kala has only part Prithvi Tattva. So, this would be the correct answer for the Kala. After that, we can have the rest of the slide that we skipped for the concept of time, because according to the space only the time varies. So, coming back to the concept of time as per the understanding of the space, because we have understood the space. Now, you see there is the much broader concept about the time in Indian understanding. Time is basically of two types. One is internal time and other is external time. Internal time is present inside of us, it is calculated with the breath, and external time is calculated as per the availability of sunlight. So, if suppose just assume that era or that period of time existence when there was no clock like this one, अगर अभी भी आपके हमारे दुनिया से सारी घड़ियां हटा दी जाएं तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा कि दिन हो गया है? Just because of the availability of the sunlight. The moment you would see there is the availability of sunlight, you would feel it is the daytime, and the moment you don't see that, you would consider it as a night, or the concept of ratri would be there. So, automatically दिवस और रात्रि ये दो कॉन्सेप्ट सनलाइट की अवेलेबिलिटी के हिसाब से चलते हैं. कब? जब हम एक्सटर्नल टाइम कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं. जब इंटरनल टाइम कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, सपोज यू आर लिविंग इन अ केव फॉर 6 months, फॉर 1 year, सो देयर इज नो अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ एनी काइंड ऑफ सनलाइट विद इन द केव. 1 साल तक आपने सूरज देखा नहीं है, तो आपका शरीर कैसे टाइम कैलकुलेट करेगा? इन दैट केस आवर इंटरनल बायोलॉजिकल क्लॉक स्टार्ट्स calculating the time. According to that, we sleep, we wake up, then we sleep, then we wake up. So, our cycle of sleep and waking up is not dependent anymore on the outside availability of the sunlight. It is available inside of us, because the basic or fundamental concept which is available in Agam Shastra in Indian corpus is Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande. So, whatever is in the pind means the microcosmic body, that is available in the macrocosmic body, Brahmand. So, cosmos में जो कुछ भी है वो पिंड में भी है. So, within your body also there are three nadi. Nadi system means you can actually, we don't have any translation of the nadi word, but we have three Ida, Pingala and Shushumna. They are considered to be our solar and lunar cycles. They are responsible for our solar and lunar cycles, like one is the Chandra Nadi, other is the Surya Nadi. So, according to that only our biological clock gets regulated inside of us. So, each and every creature is having one's own time of day and night. For example, take an ant. Ant is also having one day, but that is not equal to the one day of human beings. And we cannot generalize a kind of structure of time or standard of time according to us for all the creatures. That is what we have done right now. There is no standard time concept which is available to the humans, and that is suited to everyone. No, but in Indian understanding, see, this is 115 Angul becomes 1 Chashak. From Chashak, then Pranachar, then Angul, Ghatika, Tuti, till this portion. The measurement is according to the breath. The actual time period or duration which actually we take in one inspiration, then one expiration, inhalation and exhalation, that is counting as Pranachar. प्राणों का जो आचार है, दैट मीन्स द वेवलेंथ ऑफ आवर दिस वाइब्रेशन ऑफ इनहेलेशन एक्सहेलेशन, इनहेलेशन एक्सहेलेशन। सो जितना टाइम आपको श्वास को अंदर लेने में लगता है फिर बाहर छोड़ने में लग रहा है, एंड दिस इज हैपनिंग विद ईच ऑफ द क्रिएचर्स। सो दिस इज कॉल्ड द पल्सेशन थियरी और वाइब्रेशन प्रिंसिपल और स्पंद सिद्धांत। आई टोल्ड यू देर आर 4 ब्रांचेस ऑफ काश्मीर शैव दर्शन, Kul, Kram, Spand and Pratabhigya. So Spand is the vibration branch, and vibration branch explains that each and every creature is having the vibration inside. So according to that vibration, when your breath is vibrating with a particular amplitude or frequency, that means you are having a particular duration of exhalation, inhalation. According to that particular time period or duration, your one pranachar would decide your one tuti, and according to one tuti, your one prahar would be decided. So basically right now what we have, we are having 4 prahar in one day, and similarly 4 prahar in one night. This is the concept. From here we can move to the, we can shift to the external time also. The same concept is applicable in the external world also. Whenever there is availability of the luminosity, we calculate the day and we divide it into 4 parts. So 4 prahar is available in one day, similarly 4 prahar is available in one night. So according to our breath structure, each individual is having internal time and external time, and 1 angul is the lowest possible measurement for that time, unit of measurement of time. Lowest possible unit of measurement of time is angul, and it depends on each of the creature, it varies. जो एक चींटी का अंगुल है उसके हिसाब से उसकी एक श्वास है और उसका एक दिन है, और जो हमारा एक अंगुल है उसके हिसाब से हमारी एक श्वास है और उसके हिसाब से हमारा एक दिन है। और ये यूनिवर्सल स्केल है जो सबके लिए एक जैसी है, लेकिन हर इंडिविजुअल को का दिन और रात उसके हिसाब से चलेगा, हमारे हिसाब से उसका दिन उसकी रात नहीं चलेगी। दैट्स द इंडियन अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द टाइम। नाउ वंस वी मूव टू दिस एक्सटर्नल टाइम, वी हैव द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ टोटल 360 तिथि। It's like universal 360 tithi, and once 360 tithi are there, then we have one varsh. So 1 year or 1 varsh is something which is having 360 tithi, and 1 manav, if there are 360 tithi, it becomes 1 manav varsh, and you see 1 manav varsh becomes stratified, or you can say exponentially multiplied to the for the creatures of the upper stratum. That means once we are in this structure in the Parthiv and we are here. So if we are calculating our 1 year or 1 varsh like of 360 tithi, so technically our 360 tithi become 1 varsh for us, but for a creature who is seated at the upper level, that is in the Prakrit and suppose Jal Tattva or Agni Tattva, so जो creature उसमें है उनके लिए ये जो हमारा एक ईयर है वो उनकी एक तिथि बन जाएगा। 1 दिव्य तिथि would be considered our 1 varsh. Our 1 varsh would be equal to 1 divya tithi of the creatures who are seated in the Prakrtand. So exponentially growth होगी टाइम की, क्योंकि आपने स्पेस क्रॉस कर लिया है, पार्थिव अंड को क्रॉस करके आप जल पे मूव कर गए हैं, जल से अग्नि, अग्नि से वायु, वायु से आकाश. So the moment you are transitioning between the tattvas or among the tattvas, then exponentially your time would change, and this is the concept here. You see the divya tithi, and the same calculation would be applied for here. 1 divya tithi is 1 manav varsh is 1 divya tithi. In the same way, 360 manav varsh would become 360 divya tithi, and in the same way, if you go on calculating 1 divya varsh, then there would be 4000 divya varsh as Krita Yuga, the age of Satyug, and divya 3000 years 1 Treta Yuga, divya 2000 varsh 1 Dwapar, and divya 1000 varsh 1 Kali Yuga. And after this, if you add all them, sum up, then it is 10,000 divya varsh. That means 10,000 in cross 360 Manav Varsh, if you calculate in this way with reference of the Manav Varsh, that means human year. And after this also there is a joining phase between the two transitions, means सत्य से द्वापर, सतयुग से त्रेता, त्रेता से द्वापर, देन द्वापर से कली. So once you are transitioning between the two segments, two yugas, there is a transitional phase also. So that is joining phase of the two. Krita and Treta is Divya 700. In the same way, Divya 500 is Treta plus Dwapar. Divya 300 is Dwapar plus Kali, and Divya 500 is Kali plus Krita Yuga. In this way, the joining phase, which is understood as Sandhi Kal of Yuga, becomes Divya 2000 वर्ष. तो आप टोटल कर दीजिए 10,000 ये और 2,000 ये, टोटल दिव्य 12,000 years is one चतुर्युगी. One चतुर्युगी. चतुर्युगी means one cycle of 4 yugas. This is 12,000 क्रॉस 360 मानव वर्ष. इतना समय है एक साइकिल में 4 युग का. And once 71 times the same चतुर्युगी goes on, the same cycle goes on 71 times, it becomes one manvantar. एक मनवंतर हो गया. So technically it would be like 71, then multiplied to 12,000, then multiplied to 360. That is, this much would be the period of one manvantar in human years. After this, you see manvantar. From Manvantar, this starts the concept of the Divas of Brahma. You can say like you are transitioning from the transitional phase. You are crossing the transitional phase. अब आप काल को क्रॉस कर चुके हैं. माया, कला, विद्या, राग, नियति and काल, they are below that, and you are transitioning above Maya. So first is the one day of Brahma. Then 14 Manvantar are one day of Brahma. In the same way, 14 Manvantar would be one night of Brahma, and according to that, if you calculate the age of the Brahma for 100 years, it would be like something, and that would be equal to the one day of Vishnu. In the same way, one night of Vishnu, and in that process again go on exponentially increasing 100 years of the Vishnu's age, Rudra, one day of Rudra, one night of Rudra, and then go just use the same process exponentially, calculate the age of Shatarudra. Then from you see this is the structure. Shatarudra की age का जो 100 years है, that is the age of our cosmos. ब्रह्मांड की आयु, उसका जन्म, उसका अस्तित्व और उसके विनाश, तीनों चीज़ें एक साथ मिला दीजिए तो ये आपका शतरुद्र की एज का 100 दिव्य 100 years. This calculation is the exact number which is available as the age of the cosmos right now with us. After that, one ब्रह्मांड की एक एज के 10 दिव्य वर्ष ईश्वर तत्व के. So you are calculate moving on to the ईश्वर, सदाशिव, then शुद्ध ईश्वर, सदाशिव, then शक्ति and then शिवा. So ईश्वर तत्व, then सदाशिव तत्व, then शक्ति तत्व, then अनाश्रित शिव तत्व. Go just go ahead, exponentially increase and then calculate, and you would reach to the age of Anashrita Shiva Tattva. And here you cannot calculate this number by your calculator. ये इतना बड़ा है, आपकी मशीन फेल हो जाएगी. इसको हम कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते. That's why I told you we are going to, or we are trying to measure out the limitlessness. Limitlessness को आप measure नहीं कर सकते until and unless your instrument is itself limitless. That is something which is available here. आप हमारे पास अब तक ऐसा कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट डेवलप नहीं हुआ है जो इसको कैलकुलेट करके निकाल दे. इसको आप केवल कॉपी पे एक्सपोनेंशियली 10 to the power of नंबर मेंशन करके रख सकते हैं. That is something which is available as the concept of time in Indian understanding. So according to this concept of time and then concept of space, we can have few of the questions. For example, explain the concept of time and space in brief. Then you have to understand, you have to explain how the time varies, how the time is, what type of time we can calculate as per Indian understanding, like internal time and external time, and how it varies with the space. If you are being asked like short notes on the concept of fund, you can draw the 5 and you can mention the membranous coverings like Shantatita, Shanta, Vidya and Pratishtha, then Nivritti. So, this is these are the brief questions. We can have few of the fill in the blanks like there are total 36 tattvas in Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. There are 5 prominent kalas in the cosmic space. If you write 36 kalas, that would also be correct answer. If there is a mentioning of like prominent kalas, then the correct answer would be 5. And if you are mentioning like 36 total kalas, that would also be right. Kalas that divide the total empty space into 5 oval structures are known as, this is the actually kala that divides the total empty space into 5 oval structures are known as membranous coverings. And then bhuvanas are total 118 in number. Last, the number of deshas are 256 in number. So, these are the few questions. We can practice more from the slides also. For this lecture, this is sufficient. Thank you.